Hello, viewers out there. You're welcome once again to Sports Orbit, Thursday edition of the program. My name is Afa Acho. Salifu Usman is right here at me. Salifu, welcome to Sports Orbit, a wet Thursday.
Thank you, Afa. It's always my pleasure.
All right, on Sports Orbit today, we'll begin straight from the NFF. Yeah, still on the NFF. Recall that there's been a lot of drama as it concerns the NFF, but while a court had threatened to, to put the people concerned in jail if they had gone against it, and a higher court, which is the appeal court, today has vacated the order of interim injunction that barred the NFF from going ahead with its elective Congress bill for September 30th. That's tomorrow in Benin, the Edo State capital. The interim order followed a suit that was lodged before the Federal High Court by the plaintiff, the Nigerian Professional Footballers Association, among other things, prayed the court to direct the NFF and Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to halt further action on the elective Congress of Nigerian football, pending the determination of its case before the court. The union had gone to ask for an amendment of the 2010 NFF statutes, which led to Justin Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court in Abuja on September 15th, stopping the NFF elections slated for Benin City. The players' unions are actually advocating for equal representation of all the statutory bodies that make up the NFF as it relates to voting rights and representation on the NFF board. Well, a whole lot of issues, but as it stands so far, that restraining order has been lifted by a higher court, which had said elections mustn't hold today. So as it stands today, I mean, tomorrow is supposed to be election day. Will these elections go ahead? Will the federation do they have what it takes to put their house in order and organize an election tomorrow?
They are more than 100% ready. even though when the court order lasted, they have their mindset that they are going to go ahead with the elections.
Yeah.
And so it's like the officials of the Nigerian Football Federation always know how to skim themselves out of issues. When you thought that they are being hacked down, they'll look one way or the other to navigate their way and move out of the situation. And they have here again they have succeeded. Yeah. And you look at it, they are very smart. If I may use that word, they are very, very smart. Those Pinnick and the school. You see how they waited till the last 24 hours of the election, so that if they know that they have the right to go and vacate this order, but they never dare go near it.
Yeah.
They have to wait until the last 24 hours of the election, so that if they succeeded get the order vacating the election, nobody can have an idea, or before you think of how to go back to another superior court, the election will be held. Now it is an appeal court, so the Supreme Court is a Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And before the player union can make an attempt to go to the Supreme Court, and I don't think they can go to the Supreme Court and get another injunction from the Supreme Court between the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
So those guys at the NFF are very smart. But one thing is that I am, in all honesty, I'm very satisfied. I'm very happy with this order. More in particular,
because the election has to just go on.
Yes, no matter the situation, in as much as we are not comfortable with the section of the elections and with the power that has been entrusted with just only 44 wise men to decide who will be the next president or the next executive of the federation. That's what we're not happy. But my only happiness and my only joy is that by this time tomorrow, or latest in the evening, we will have another new president of Nigeria. Pinnick will be out. To me, that gave me glad, and every Nigerian will be happy to see that Pinnick will finally kick out of the football, kick out of the president of the Nigerian Football Federation tomorrow. So, and but one thing is that if you look at the technical, I'm not the lawyers. I don't even have any expertise or I don't have any knowledge to be any. But if you look at from a layman point of view and they look at the technicality raised by the appellate court, the appellate court were questioning the learned trials at the lower court that But we know, even you are not a lawyer, we are not a lawyer, but we only heard from those who are learned and from the legal perspective that a court can only give you what you ask for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That if you don't ask that, okay, please send me to Kano, court will not tell you go to Kano. Court will only ask you what you asked for. But from the apparent court, they pointed out the technicality, noted that even the appellant, that is the plaintiffs and the trading in the player union, only asked them that they should for an amendment to the court.
Exactly.
To compelling to compelling the NFF to amend the constitution. They never asked for an injunction. According to the technicality raised by the appellant court. That for the the trial lower court to grant an ex parte order restricting the party from corruption election was a miscarriage of justice. And infringed on their right.
Exactly.
And at the same time, another technicality they point out, I don't know whether the lower court is aware of this, but we are not a lawyer. I'm just following what I understand. Also say that by the ex parte order can only last for 14 days. Can only last for 14 days. But from the technicality based on the appellant decision that but by granting an ex parte order on the 15th of September, and you adjourn the case to 31st of October, that means you have exceeded the provision of the 14 days at which ex parte order is supposed to last. And by that, by to 50, that means you have taken it to 46 days. That based on these two technicality, you have at the lower court and miscarriage of justice and decide to set aside the judgment. So I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know whether the lower court or the learned lawyers and the lower court judges and the lower court were not aware that by their own rule, the ex parte order can only last for 14 days. And at the same time, you have the point that the court can only give you what you ask for. It's like the lower court, based on the decision of their people, overstay their power.
Exactly.
So, but what we are looking for, praying for now, that we pray that let's have the peaceful and successful election tomorrow. But another threat to the election, another threat that can be to the election, that if you remember there's a statement from the Benin youth. You know what I mean that one of the participants of the election maltreated one of their own right up with now late. The former correspondent with Daily Post and the former correspondent with and the former chairman of Canopy Social Association. I think that treated him as when he was supposed to have. And he only accepting the which is not 50 and not can't let him death. And that nobody should bear their state for the election. But what Africa are doing do not take money to their hands. They should allow all the participants, everybody to come to the people, they have all this election people, and let's have that. We have the next president of the nation who is in the next level to define the people of our people on behalf of the situation of finance. At the moment, we can't continue to allow the football to go on. Football is the only thing that brings this country together. It's the only sport, it's the only thing that nobody plays, nobody fear, nobody cares where you are coming from. As long as you are in Nigeria, Colombia, and Nigeria.
All right, still on the NFF elections, where one of the Secretary General of the NFF, Musa Amadu, says he's contesting ready to participate in the NFF Elective Congress on Friday. He said this following the Thursday appeal ready for Elective Congress of the NFF as chair. He said, I, Musa Amadu, will participate in the elections. This notice becomes necessary following several rumors that have pulled out from the presidential race. As nothing of such news emanated from me, I assure all my supporters that I will be contesting for the position of the president of the NFF in Benin City, Edo State, come Friday, September 20th, 2022. So, for Amadu, he has come to debunk, rumors flying around that he was going to pull out. He has come to state categorically that he's still very much in the race, and all things being equal, tomorrow he'll also be, be one of the contestants for the top job in the NFF.
It is good that we heard from Amadu, and even not even based on the court order that was a whole lot of them have said that they are not going to contest. They are not going to participate. Remember them, Amadu Shekwan was also given yesterday in the statement that he will not participate in the election if the court order is not vacated. at the same time, you also get one wrong or from either Peter side. Also, feel like you don't go to protest if they report that. And if the whole lot of other parties, including the FCFA chairman, Mutar, also feel that if nothing is done, according to according to what one of the close aides said, that if nothing is done before 12 noon this today, he will issue a statement pulling out from the election. But before the election, there was a statement that okay, court has vacated the order. So it's good that his current is coming out, and Mushaman also there was also the rumor that Mushaman is ready to play this position for the position of general secretary. That he will not contest on it, and he's ready to play for the position of general secretary, and he will back out for the position of the president. But he has come out clearly that this is very much in the mix. So we see how that means the level of them both before the 40 wise men, and then the 40 wise men decided between the level of them who is eminently qualified and who is eminently capable and worthy. But what we are asking those wise men and women who will decide our fate or who lead our people, they should not take their conscience and let them put Nigeria first. Yes, they may have their personal interest, but let the overall general interest of Nigeria supersede. They should vote based on who they feel is eminently competent to rule Nigeria.
All right, to some other stories somewhere. Super Eagles head coach Jose Pesero says he can't wait to see the Super Eagles battle with his native country, Portugal, in an international friendly slated for 17th of November in Lisbon. He said, and he's looking forward to the Super Eagles friendly against his country. He said, I'm happy to play against Portugal. It is my country, and it's going to be a good match. I hope the players who are injured recover in time for this match. I will choose the best players, but I hope there's no big injuries in the team. Of course, that match should be another good test. I mean, in my opinion, should be the toughest test yet for Pesero since taking charge of the Super Eagles and playing against the star-studded Portuguese side who one of looking like my bookmakers as one of good things to watch out for going into the World Cup in Qatar.
Well, it is good to be very because our desire to play his own country. But the tested match that I've arranged for him so far, he has played. That's what let's see. This can't be again. I don't see how you know to beat the Portugal. But the good is that, just like you said, it is desire to play. We're all waiting to see how we're going to fare next after playing against the goal.
It could be a different encounter. Sometimes football is not always like that. Sometimes you might lose to a lesser team, but we come against a bigger team and you might just carry the day.
What? We hope so.
All right. Away from that now to some athletics news where a decision by the main organizing committee of the National Sports Festival to restrict entries into some of the athletes event has been described by coaches as an attempt to kill the sport in Nigeria. Actually, the Athletics Federation and coaches have actually kicked against the restriction because for sports like long jump and which other sports now, which are sports that we did well in. In previous meets, they are saying that only one entry each as against the treaty, while other sports, 3 entries will be allowed per sport, while for this very important sport, they are saying 1 entry each. And of course, the federation actually said that the president actually said, Tonobo Okwa said, they had asked the main organizing committee to revert to the world standard entry per event, and it is remained to be seen if the changes will be made. Then former heptathlon champion Patience Itai said, this is ridiculous to say the least. The sports festival is like our Olympics. Restricting the number of entries is like killing the sport. This is so wrong. It does not make any sense. How do you develop the sport? Imagine the long distance runners who are looking forward to running in a competition are being denied the opportunity of doing so. And of course, you want to get to wonder sometimes how different, agencies who are saddled with responsibilities of organizing events, how they make their decisions. Sometimes you just wonder because they haven't given any particular reason for why they are restricting entries. if you are restricting entries, if it was the COVID period, you could say, okay, because of COVID, you don't want crowd. But it's no longer in the COVID period. Give us a reason why you are restricting entries and why have you said it should be a long jump and these other sports.
But if I may, what of course he said to keep it in line with the world athletic standard. That is it.
No, the decision, according to report, has not gone well with Okowa. He's saying he has asked the main organizing committee to revert.
Okay, Okowa is one of those.
Yes, taking against it to revert to the world standards of entry per event. I'm not saying some event you can bring 3, while this event you can only bring 1 participant. So he's kicking against it also.
I think the Minister of Youth and Sports, who is the owner of the sport festival, will get into
exactly.
This is quite ridiculous, and I agree with them. The essence of the sport festival is for development and is to discover new talent.
Exactly.
It's really an opportunity to excel and give an opportunity for undiscovered athletes to showcase themselves and get discovered. So if you are restricting the number, so that means you are close, you are denying
that's what it means.
Opportunity.
And this is a Nigerian event.
As far as I'm concerned, and I agree with those speaking against it, the Minister of Youth and Sports need the Minister of Youth and Sports, who I know is passionately key interest about developing young talents is more important, is more concerned about getting new talent, not those that are already been discovered. So the essence of sports fair is to get new talent and get this. So there's no even a limit to the number of people
exactly. I mean,
but the only that you can only receive the number that just because of the facilities or because of the size because of the facilities or what the number of the facilities.
So you
but as far as the whole state has not come out to say this is the number we can take. Though those reasons they allow that they should receive the number are unfair in Nigeria youth.
All right, we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, Sport Orbit continues. Stay tuned.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Lime Bridge. All right, welcome back from that break. You're still on to Sports Orbit now. To some news coming out from Bayelsa State, where Governor Joye Diri has announced a reward package for sportsmen and women from the state that participated in different competitions recently. Olympic silver medalists who won gold in wrestling at the Commonwealth Games, Blessing Oborodudu, and sprinter God Bless, who also won gold in the 4x100 relay for Nigeria in the African Senior Athletics Championship in Mauritius, were among recipients of the governor's gesture. Among others were teenage table tennis sensation Samuel Buboyi, who won 2 gold medals for Nigeria in the African Under-19 Championship in Tunisia, as well as Bayelsa Queens, who are champions of the African Female Champions League WAFU Zone B tournament. Coaches of the teams were also rewarded, while Governor D, while receiving athletes and footballers, said they made Nigeria, of course, and the state proud. So, good one coming from the governor. We have said about this when the president had.
Just like you predicted.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. But so far, it's the only governor who is doing this. The other, all some of these other athletes also come from a state. Also, their governors are yet to say anything. But we
more in particular, I'm more disappointed about the state government.
Exactly.
Where Toby Amusa came from.
Recall that when she broke the record, he was out there making noise of how. But now that she has actually, we're yet to hear
that he doesn't have. But I expected Dakwabi by now to have treated Toby Amusa
a state
reception.
Yeah.
Even declare a public holiday, state reflection, and let all the schools, all these young students come out in masses to celebrate this young girl. But he has been so quiet about it. I think if he's not taking to that direction, I think he should hear from what you are saying. Let his aid, his media, and whoever is close to him, tell him that if he's not celebrating Amusu, he's doing a great injustice to that lady, and even to himself, because he needs to celebrate that girl for what that girl has done for this country. First, he heard from the state. He won the medal for the country, but he heard from the state. The glory also go to the state.
Very well, very well. All right, to some boxing news now where
they are more concerned about the election. Just like if I Okoa, he's also one of the.
But hosting a reception does not take more than a day. So how will that affect?
The policy of election don't allow them to think.
No, but
the man from Bayelsa, his own election may be about not next year, about 2 years.
But even at that, organizing this event of this magnitude does not take more than a day, and that's the truth of the matter. So election is not an excuse.
And it's not even the one you are not even able to organize. Just
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Just come there, within 30 minutes.
Just make a pronouncement. You are not the governor. You are not the one who will be arranging chairs or arranging hall. You have aides who do that. There's a ministry for sports in the state. Just direct them to do the necessary change, and that's all.
Just approve. Go ahead.
Exactly. You mustn't even be present. Someone can represent you. All you do just announce.
You must be present. You must be present for this one.
All right. Well, we'll see how that pans out. To some boxing news now, where fellow Briton Dillian White has called out Anthony Joshua, offering to step in to fight the former heavyweight champion in place of Tyson Fury. We told you earlier in the week that Tyson Fury had said that the fight is off since Joshua hadn't signed the contract on Monday. But some reports were flying around shortly before we came into the studio that Fury had extended the time and is urging Joshua to still go ahead and sign the contract. Well, I really don't understand Fury as he stands, but Dillian White says if the fight is not happening, that he is willing to step in and make sure that a fight happens between him and Anthony Joshua in December.
Well, the dubious interest, what is him and Joshua going to fight for?
No, I mean, sometimes for money, of course. Boxing fights are not always necessarily about belts. I mean, there's always a stake. Floyd Mayweather is retired, but every week he's holding an exhibition fight and he's pulling in plenty of money. So
but I don't think Joshua is more interested about the exhibition match now. What Joshua want to fight is to fight to
Joshua is more interested in making money. And Joshua knows he can be champion here, and that's the truth of the matter.
Wow.
Yes. Joshua is more interested in getting a major big payday, and what Fury was offering, and that was one of the major issues for the contract because the splitting of the money was not favorable to Joshua and the camp. So he feels if I must come out, I mean, it has to be favorable to me, and it wasn't favorable. And well, we'll see if Fury will rescind his decision and still go ahead with the fight.
I think the decision by Fury to extend the title maybe because of the backlash.
Exactly.
People have been doubting that it's a cow. Afraid of this, so that's why it's maybe he has. But the beauty thing that is the fight that everybody is
exactly. Definitely.
So Fury should just throw pride into the team and allow this fight to happen.
All right, to some other sports, combat sports still where Nigeria's Israel Adesanya will be in action once again. That will be UFC 281, 12th of November in New York, Madison Square Garden to be precise, where he will face Alex Pereira in another championship bout. And former UFC champion Henry Cejudo believes that Pereira has what it takes to knock Adesanya out in that one. He said, I think Alex is going to get it. This is why it's so important that as a mixed martial artist, you become well-rounded. According to him, he feels Adesanya is a good fighter, but he feels this Pereira guy, is more of a well-rounded fighter, and he feels he has what it takes to knock Adesanya out when they come against each other in November.
There's no big deal, no big news about it. As, he believed, and I think Adesanya also believe himself that he has what it takes to beat it. So let the stage change, and by the time they get to the ring, they'll decide
the talking will be done in the ring. That's how it's done. All right, to our final story before we leave, where Barcelona Vice President Edward Romeo has said Lionel Messi's return to the club as a player will be financially possible next summer. Messi will be out of contract at PSG at the end of the season and could potentially move back to Barca on a free transfer. Recall that the forward left the club for France in 2021 because they could not afford to renew his deal while remaining within their La Liga spending limit. He said it will be possible financially because if he returns, he will be as a free agent. When asked if the club will, of course, he said it's a decision which has to be made by the coaching staff and the player. It doesn't correspond to me, but it will be viable. Barca President Joan Laporta also opened the door to a sensational Messi return in the summer when he told ESPN that the forward chapter at the club is still not over. So Barca still eyeing a possible reunion with their star man if it's possible.
But I think for me, in my personal view, I think Barcelona should think of how to move.
Exactly.
Move ahead with Messi. The era of Messi should be seen as forgotten in Barcelona. And Messi himself also should also think of go ahead with his company, go ahead with in the PSG where he is. Not to think about a possible return to Barcelona. To me, the possible to return to Barcelona is no longer ideal.
Exactly.
The two sides should think of how to forge ahead and move on.
Messi has even said in the previous time previously that he would love to end his career where it all began for him in Argentina. That's Newell's old boys.
Okay.
Yeah, he has said several times that he will be very because that was a team that discovered him, and he didn't have to play for them. He didn't play for them for a very long time as he would have wanted before moving to Barca. And he has always said his dream will be at least come do 1 or 2 seasons with them before he finally quits.
That would be
exactly
actually commendable, and that would be appreciated by those clubs that also discover him.
Yeah.
But I don't know why the Barcelona's leadership are still always looking at Messi. I see that
they are yet to go past it.
I see that if there's no Messi, there's no Barcelona.
Exactly.
That's not supposed to know.
I mean,
let's move on.
I mean, there always come a time where you have to hang your boots. And
either you like it or not, either Messi leave Barcelona to even another club because of the financial issues that happen. Messi one day, then they retire from
definitely. I mean,
so they will become Barcelona then.
Exactly.
And they should know that the influence today because of the vandalism in Barcelona, Barcelona is still suffering for today. And now you still want to bring him to come back. As if without Messi, Barcelona cannot be anywhere. There was a Barcelona before Messi, and there should be Barcelona after Messi.
Very well. Anyway, with that, we draw the curtain on today's episode of Sports Orbit. We'll be back tomorrow again with our Friday edition. Do expect it to be an exciting edition. Of course, the Premier League also will be returning this weekend, so I will give you a preview of the Premier League games as they happen this weekend. So, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
All right. Tomorrow we'll come back with another edition. Stay safe out there. My name is Afa Cho, and it's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.